we're moving on down to public comments. I'm going to go in the order of how it's been signed up here. Is it Travis Price?
Yes.
Come on up, Travis. You have 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Travis Price. I've been a resident of Hawkins County for 49 years. And I bought my farm in 2000. And when I bought my farm, I paid a little over $600 in taxes on my property. Today's date, I pay over $2,500 for taxes. A little bit ridiculous. Since I've owned my farm, the road has never been done except patchwork. My wife went to work the other day, busted the tar on Candy Valley coming out. And even when we built our house, when I asked to put the tile in, they wouldn't help us. I did it myself. Had to pay for it. Kinda hurts. Me saying that, the two new jobs that's coming up, I don't think right now we need them. I mean, at this day and time, I just don't feel like, as far as taxpayers are paying for it. And for the sheriff, yes, they probably need a raise, but how it's going about, $5, and that's big. But I think we need to kind of look at that. And if we want to compete with our surrounding counties, we need to look at other avenues. And I'm going to give you, for instance, I know some of you are going to say it's in the city, but it'll help the county. Let's take Seguin, for instance, about the sewer system. If we can pump in or have a sewer system to get some businesses in here or restaurants to help us out, if we want to be competitive, because you go to these other counties, they've got that. We don't. Instead of giving it to an airport or something, let's put it into something to give us the money back, where it ain't on the taxpayers. And I've worked for what I've got very hard. And it's hard to raise a family, pay $2,500 right after Christmas. And it keeps going up and up. And I've asked and done a little research. In 2022, we had a 15-cent raise on these taxes. It was 1.6 million. 1.4 went to something else after it got passed, so it was a wash. Now we're here again. So we need to look at other avenues. Thank you.
All right, thanks, sir. David Linkus.
How is everybody today? Just like last month's meeting, I don't envy any one of you having to make a decision Jim's got to make. But I was at last week's budget committee meeting, and I'd suggested making cuts through the contribution area and whatnot, and they asked me where I would make those cuts. And I got simple, benign answers like it helps for businesses. It's you won't help if you get hurt, don't you, and things like that. Well, I took it upon myself. It was something that actually one of you commissioners actually brought up. It's about hosting business development center, $32,000 going to them. And he's asking why and whatnot. And Mr. Gillum told him that it helps businesses. He was skeptical of it until he took a tour of the place. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct, till I learn more about it. Part of that was a tour.
I went up there today and I talked to Miss Bennett. And Miss Bennett, very sweet lady, answered my questions, honestly, to my knowledge anyway. She couldn't even tell me how many businesses had business license in that building. She couldn't tell me how many of them paid sales tax to the state or the county or the city of Kingsport. Because if you're running a business, you got to have a city license and a county license. She couldn't tell me none of that. In business development, being a business owner, that's one of the first things you decide on, what name your business is and if the name's available through the state. She couldn't answer any of those, and she told me that her job was to help people get businesses started. That's one of the primary things you got to have is a license to have a business. So if, let's say, average business in there, 8 to 10 businesses in there renting from her, they're paying $2,000 a month in sales tax that goes to the state. 2.75% of that comes back to the county. And if you divide that up, that's $660 per year that would come back into the county just off of one business. Now, it ain't a lot, but you multiply that by 10, that's $6,600. Multiply it by 100, that's over $66,000. But she couldn't tell me one business in there that she knew was paying sales tax on a monthly basis. And here we are giving her $32,000 to help run the place. It's not a whole lot of backgrounding and looking up information. Granted, yes, she's saying helping businesses and whatnot. How's those businesses helping our county? Especially if they can't prove it and we're just flushing out money to them. That's just one of many ways. And not to jump on the EMS or anything like that, a $200,000 increase, doubling their budget. I mean, their primary source of income is supposed to be coming from health insurance providers.
About 30 seconds.
So, I mean, that's other avenues that I don't think the background work's being done before you can give money away. And if you knew that, I don't know if that sways your vote on whether or not you gave them that $32,000 last week. But that's my suggestion. There's no background work done, and that, I don't blame the commission for that. Nothing personal. Well, yeah, it is personal. I blame you, Mr. DeWitt. You're the county mayor. You're supposed to provide these commissioners with all the information to be able to make an educated decision and vote on it. You didn't do that in this case.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Jeremy Ford. The 3 minutes, Jeremy.
Somewhat expounding on that, has it occurred to any of y'all how outrageous it is to enact a large tax increase and still adding millions in debt? Is this what you ran on? You think your voters would be fine with that? Is that what they expected, to raise taxes for raises and still go with more debt? Is it the best you can do? Have y'all worked your hardest to try to find where you can cut and what can be cut? Some of you will say, well, we're in this situation because of past commissions. Well, if that's the case, what are y'all doing different? What are you doing different than the past commissions have done?
That's right.
This is a little bit rhetorical, but what are the consequences of violating MOE? Has anybody contacted the comptroller and asked them? Somewhere you have to find money to cut. We're going to be $62.5 million in debt. Where does it stop? Are we going to go $2, $3, $4 million in debt additional every year going forward? It has to stop sometime. We're not the U.S. Congress, but we're acting like it. What you're doing is not okay. If you're not willing to try harder and put more work into it, if you're not going to bring in some outside people to help you look at it, find things, then maybe it's best you sit out the next election. There's precedent for that. When you're in debt, it's not the time to spend money on non-essentials. It doesn't matter how valuable they are. When you're in debt and you're adding more, you don't spend money on extra things. When it raises for the sheriff, the guys at the bottom, that's 100% justifiable. But the way that structure is set up, the amount of money that is up on the top end, that's crazy in the situation where now everybody has answers for all this stuff. Why we can't do it? Why we can't do anything different? Sometimes you got to think outside the box. You got to work a little harder.
Thank you. Okay, Rick Blankus, not sure what topic you're going to speak on, if it's on the agenda or not.
A little bit of Q&A and the topic. I might need a little more than 3 minutes.
You've got exactly 3 minutes.
I wasn't speaking last month, but I didn't make it here in time to sign the little
Okay.
paperwork, so.
Well, okay, you got 3 minutes.
What is the county debt right now? Anybody?
Around 60.
Okay, so it's went down some, because I know when Melvin was in here, it was like 100 million.
We're about 68.
Okay. Are we trying to get that down?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's good.
We're actually getting ready, we're getting ready to pay off highway debt service here pretty soon now.
Okay, Melvin said you was just paying up the interest and that's all he was gonna do. No, I didn't know. I just wondered about that. How much we got in emergency fund?
Which one, Rick?
Any of them that you can get money out of to fix this bridge?
The fund balance is 15.
That's not.
15 million?
Yeah, about 15.
Okay. You knew about this bridge, what, 2017? And the other 3 or 4?
I'm not sure on that.
I think I read that somewhere, that's when that come up. Why couldn't you have took so much there and put this Band-Aid on this bridge instead of waiting now where it's gonna cost us $1.5 million? You know, I mean, what do y'all consider an emergency? They say that bridge about 500 people up there, I mean, you couldn't get much more than that. I mean, you could put that back in there, you're fine by now. And as far as police officers, I hope you get it, boys, but I'll tell you what, I ain't never had a $5 an hour raise. But, you know, I wouldn't have your job, I wouldn't walk up to these cars and knock on these doors, these people nuts anymore. It is, but still yet, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Us being the taxpayers, you're all the taxpayers. I don't know, I know people that I work with, and y'all probably know people, not have many families. They're one paycheck away from living in their car. Well, I work with people like that. Some of them own property, some rent. You say, well, don't affect the renter. Yeah, if you jack that owner of that property that they're renting from, he's not gonna eat that. He's gonna send it right on down to them people renting. And, you know, like I say, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Paul's got a friend up here watching this. And if these people get fired, what your school teachers gonna want? Where's Mr. Hickson at? He was here last month. That's already been brought up, ain't it?
That's being handled by the state right now.
But where's that money gonna come from?
Good question.
Right here.
Got less than 30 seconds.
Okay, Paul's got another friend. Y'all know who that is, don't you? County workers, highway department, people here in this courthouse. Where are you gonna get that money from? Like the man said, it's gonna have to stop somewhere.
That's your time. Thank you.
I think the Constitution, something in there says that money through taxation is just for what is essential. To run the county, run the state, or run the country. That's it. All this extra stuff, nope. No.
All right, thank you. That's everybody that was on the list that had signed in.